Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're decoding the hidden reasons why a powerful, highly capable mind so often, just stops itself from even beginning. We're looking at a fascinating phenomenon I like to call the frozen architect. Think about it. You can draft the absolute most magnificent blueprints in the world, but if you never actually pour the foundation, the building literally never exists. We're going to unpack the psychological traps behind perfectionist procrastination and really learn how to turn your intelligence into your greatest strength rather than your biggest roadblock. Okay, let's dive into this.
Have you ever met someone who talks endlessly about big dreams, yet nothing ever actually changes? Or, if we're being completely honest here, does this actually describe you? It's a uniquely frustrating experience, right? You've got this incredibly vivid picture of the success you want, maybe 50 open tabs of research, a beautifully color-coded Notion template that, let's face it, never gets used, and you know deep down you are entirely capable of achieving it. You've got the intelligence, you have the vision, but somehow, month after month, year after year, you just remain stuck exactly where you started.
And this creates a massive, truly agonizing gap. On one side, we have the perfect future. This is filled with your dreams, your ultimate success, and a vision of you operating at your absolute highest capability. But then, on the other side, we have the stuck present. And this is that really uncomfortable reality of endless planning, total inaction, and mounting frustration. The gap between that brilliant potential bouncing around in your head and the reality of not taking that very first step, it's massive. And it creates a profound cognitive dissonance that we absolutely need to resolve.
So, Section 1. The paradox of potential. Debunking the laziness myth. If you are constantly planning but never actually acting, I need you to hear this. You absolutely aren't lazy. So the crucial point is this major paradigm shift. If you're constantly researching, constantly mapping out literally every single contingency, but you aren't acting, that's not laziness. Laziness is a lack of desire to do the work, and you definitely have the desire. What psychology actually proves is that what you've been calling procrastination is, in reality, avoidance anxiety. It's a hardwired psychological response. Your brain is actively avoiding tasks that feel overwhelming or emotionally uncomfortable. Your highly intelligent mind is literally trying to protect you from emotional discomfort, not from the physical effort of the work itself.
And here is exactly how that protection mechanism actually turns against you, creating this completely destructive cycle. First, you delay an important task just because it feels a little too big or uncomfortable. Second, and this is really the dangerous part, your brain actually learns from this. It logs a data point that basically says, avoiding this discomfort kept us safe. So every single time you delay, you're reinforcing that avoiding is safer than just facing the task. Third, because you continuously break these little promises to yourself, your self-trust is gradually destroyed, kind of like termites eating away at your foundation. And finally, the ultimate trap. I don't finish things morphs from a temporary behavior into your permanent identity. You actually start believing that inaction is just who you are.
Which brings us to Section 2, the illusion of progress and the perfectionist's safety net. Let's look at why perfectionists stay stuck in the planning phase to protect their fragile self-image.
If you're terrified of this new identity as someone who just doesn't finish things, why on earth do you stay in the planning phase? Well, you stay there to protect your fragile self-image. This quote really hits home. As long as you are just planning, your dream remains perfect. You see, perfectionists don't lack ambition, not at all. They are terrified of trying with all their might and ending up just average. Because your high intelligence means you can clearly visualize exactly how flawlessly things should be done, the messy, imperfect reality of a first draft feels terribly frustrating. So you hide. You hide in the blueprint stage because, hey, blueprints don't have cracks.
Let's move to and see how this builds, mapping out the scientific trap here. This perfectionist hiding spot actually relies on a deeply flawed reward loop in the brain. Highly intelligent minds are absolute masters of cognitive complexity. You can imagine achieving your goal so vividly that step 1 is a total breeze, but step 2 is where the science literally betrays you. Simply imagining that success causes your brain to release a small amount of satisfaction. It's a little biochemical hit of dopamine, almost as if you've already achieved the goal. And because of that, step 3 kicks in. Your actual urgency to take real-world action drops completely. You basically confuse thinking about the work with actually doing the work.
That flawed reward loop leads directly into Section 3, mental exhaustion and the cost of cognitive complexity. We need to talk about how intelligent minds wear themselves out before they even begin.
And this brilliantly illustrates the problem. Being smart means you naturally examine every single angle. You look at every detail, every possibility, every single thing that could possibly go wrong. But a staggering 90% of your cognitive energy is being entirely consumed by running constant mental what-if simulations. You are endlessly analyzing obstacles that haven't even happened yet. So by the time you finally get to that tiny remaining 10%, the actual execution and action, your battery is completely empty. You drain your mental energy so thoroughly in the simulation phase that you legitimately feel too tired to act in the real world.
This exhaustion makes it incredibly easy to fall into our next trap. Section 4. Addicted to potential, and why the idea is better than the reality. Let's explore how we get hooked on the rush of our own potential. For so many perfectionists, the very idea of the work becomes an intoxicating rush. I mean, the planning phase is safe, it's exciting, it's perfect, and it's filled with the warm glow of future success. Talking about big dreams feels fantastic, right? But the reality of the action phase? Let's be real. It is uncomfortable, it is slow, it's highly repetitive, it's the gritty, boring work of actually mixing the cement and laying the bricks. Your brain naturally gravitates toward wanting the identity of a visionary, completely avoiding the hard reality of making real, tangible progress. And this creates a massive identity misalignment. If, deep down, you secretly believe you're just an undisciplined, safe planner, your brain will actively resist taking action. Why? Because action requires becoming someone entirely different, an action taker who actually embraces discomfort. To your subconscious, that change feels like a literal threat to your internal sense of self. Your brain is just trying to maintain consistency with who it thinks you are, even if who you are is completely stuck.
So, how do we actually fix this? We move to Section 5, breaking the cycle, moving from survival to reasoning. Turning those brilliant dreams into reality requires serious courage, especially when your highly intelligent mind is working against you.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that it reveals the exact cognitive shift we need. Train your brain to shift from survival mode into reasoning mode by taking the first step despite the discomfort. Survival mode is that avoidance anxiety. It's the urge to just flee the uncomfortable, boring, imperfect work. Reasoning mode is stepping back and going, okay, this discomfort isn't a tiger chasing me. It's literally just the friction of doing a rough first draft. You have to consciously take that first, terribly imperfect step, despite the severe mental friction screaming at you to stop.
You absolutely must stop the silent collapse of your potential. Think about it. When a brilliant idea stays entirely in your head, it doesn't fail loudly in front of the world. It just quietly collapses into nothing. We want to help you prevent that. If you found this explainer valuable, make sure to subscribe so we can keep decoding these hidden psychological mind traps together.
I want to leave you with this final, critical question. Will you stay addicted to who you could be, or will you face the discomfort of becoming who you actually are? The blueprint is done. The planning is over. I challenge you to apply this logic immediately. Just take one small, highly imperfect action today. Thank you so much for learning with me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.